Drafting with Marshall is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com and GatheringMagic.com. Explore the game. Hey guys, Marshall here from Limited Resources, doing another draft with you here on GatheringMagic.com, and we've opened a nice one. Crater's Claws. Definitely the best card in the pack, though. There is some competition here in the form of Mistfire Weaver. I suppose Jeskai Charm, Arrow Charm are fine, but Jeskai Charm and Arrow Storm are fine. But yeah, Crater's Claws, one of the better cards in the whole set. It can kill your opponent kind of out of nowhere, and I'm pretty happy to pick it up. Out of this next pack, I like Abzan Falconer the best. I don't think it's that close, really. I mean, the red card is a Summit Prowler. Meh. Kill Shot, I'm keen to, but Falconer's just super strong, so no real reason to not take it here. This one's a little interesting. This pick's interesting, actually. Very interesting now that I look at it. So we can do a couple things here. Since we want to try to stay at least in some type of a clan, that means that we could take Jeskai Windscout. We could also just take a Bring Low, though, or a Mystic of the Hidden Way. I think I'm going to take the Mystic of the Hidden Way here. My thinking is that I get to cast it either way, as a morph or not. The Windscout, you never really know. And worst case is it's a morph, but best case it's really, really good and probably on par with Windscout, if not better. So I like it. All right, pretty easy one here. Highspire Mantis, and off we go. From this point, we can move over into Mardu if we feel like that's warranted, or we can just stick in Jeskai if our Mystic of the Hidden Way is really great, or if we pick up a couple more blue cards. All right, I'll take a ride down here. Lurkers, Bring Low are just fine. Smite's okay, but I like Ride Down actually quite a bit. I find it quite strong, actually. It's one of those weird cards where they block and they think, well, I've got a trick or I've got something, and Ride Down just kills their guy kind of no matter what, and I like that. Even if they kill your guy, it doesn't. Usually you think like, well, I'll kill your guy with my Ride Down, and then they think, well, then I'll kill your guy in response, and then it won't be blocking anymore, but of course that's not how the rules work. So Ride Down usually gets his man. I like that quite a bit. This next pack, nothing great. I will take a Crippling Chill just because I think it's the best card here, but I'm certainly not addicted to going Jeskai here. Like if things kind of, shift a little bit, I would be willing to move off pretty easily. But they haven't, so we'll just stick with it for now. I'm going to take this War Behemoth. Not that I'm excited about it, but sure. All right, well, kind of interesting. There's a Hooting Mandrill still in the pack, which I like quite a bit, but I think we can't really take it, and I probably should just play it safe and go with Sage Eye Harrier. I could take the Trumpet Blast. That's a way to punch through a bunch of damage, and we might have some tokens going here. Yeah, I'll take the Trumpet Blast just in case. And of course, then we get a Rush of Battle immediately afterwards and another Trumpet Blast. Oh well. I wouldn't mind just being a Trumpet Blast deck. Let's try for that. Not much here. Glacial Stalker. Well, that shows me that blue's a little bit open. I mean, the Scaldkin isn't a big signal, but the Stalker's a perfectly playable card, and usually don't see it go quite that late, though it's usually in that ballpark. But I kind of like where that pack went. I think that our first 3 to 4 picks were very, very, very strong. And then our next ones were kind of what we would expect. The awkwardness comes in with the Trumpet Blasts, as, we kind of want a way to make those excellent as opposed to just decent. So we'll be keeping an eye out for that. But, as usual, these first few picks out of this next couple of packs are going to go based on power level. Oh, yes. Okay. Jeskai Ascendancy it is. I like that. I like that a lot. I mean, that card's just very, very powerful on its own. We've already got Crippling Chill, a pair of Trumpet Blasts, and a Crater's Claws as well, so we can trigger it fairly easily. We've also got a Jeskai banner hiding over here, just in case, but that's pretty sweet. Whoa, more stuff. All right, well, here's an interesting decision. So, Narset Enlightened Master or Jeskai Charm. It's funny. I mean, for me, I think this isn't really close. I think it's Jeskai Charm. I think Narset's just okay. First Strike Hexproof for 6 is not a great deal. We kind of expect better for our 6 mana. And then exiling the top 4 cards in a normal limited deck. That's 10% of your library, your starting library, and it's way more than 10% of your actual library when you actually, by the time you actually cast Narset, because you start with 7, plus you've hit at least 6 lands, so that's at least 6 turns, that's 13, you know, so now all of a sudden you're down to 27, and now you're exiling 4 of them per hit. And yeah, you might get a few free spells off the deal, but it adds up pretty quickly. Now, I think I might play a Narset anyway. I think my main point there was just that it's not an amazing card, and Jeskai Charm is fantastic. It's just stone awesome. So I think that's a pretty easy pick. I like an Aerostorm here. Waterwhirl's pretty sweet too, but Aerostorm finishes off the opponent very directly, and a lot of times Aerostorm's going to do what Waterwhirl would do anyway, which is get something out of the way so that you can attack. And Aerostorm's pretty good at that. So I like that pickup there. One thing, you know, that astute viewers will be noticing already is that we've got a little bit of a gap over here. We are going to need to pick up some mana fixing. We're pretty spread out among the 3 colors that we're in currently. So something that we're going to have to keep our eye out for. You know, we need to prioritize it a little bit more every step that goes by. I like the Efreet Weaponmaster here. I'd like a Treasure Cruise for the deck, but I think the Weaponmaster is significantly better just as a individual card. And given that we're in Jeskai, Efreet Weaponmaster is great. It does exactly what you want to do. So works well with Trumpet Blasts as well. I really like that card. Ooh, here's a pack. Force Away Swiftwater Cliffs Jeskai Windscout. All excellent. I'm going to take the Windscout. I just think it's too good of a threat to pass, and we're a little light on creatures. Not a lot, but you know, we need to make sure that we get enough solid creatures in this deck. But yeah, I got to say that's a pretty nice one, that pack there. So a Weaponmaster, or do we actually want the Treasure Cruise? Maybe even an Act of Treason over one of these Trumpet Blasts or something. We're not really looking like a Trumpet Blast deck as it sits. Maybe one of them will make the cut. I'll take another Weaponmaster. I like that card enough to assume that we're going to play kind of as many of them as we can get. It's really solid for the curve filler too. I like that a lot. But yeah, these 2 Trumpet Blasts are not looking great. The Scaldkin doesn't look great right now either. I could easily see our deck looking more like this. And this does look pretty great, I have to say. You know, we've got a War Behemoth, but we've got a whole bunch of other stuff, and that card can do work anyway. Let's just assume that this is how our deck's going to look. And, you know, I mean, look, if Scaldkin makes the cut, it makes the cut. I'm not that heartbroken about it. I just think that if things go well, it probably won't. All right, Set Adrift, Leaping Master, another Scaldkin. I'm going to take the Leaping Master. I want some more 2-drops. I probably want 2 to 3 more of them by the time we're done here. Just getting off to a quick start's an important piece for this deck. You basically want to be able to set up some type of pressure, you know, like let's say 2 attacking creatures, a Highspire Mantis and a Master, or maybe, you know, a Windscout and a Leaping Master or something like that. And then Crippling Chill hit you, you know, play Master of the Hidden Way, flip it up, hit you with that thing. And then like maybe finish off with Jeskai Charm or, you know, Ascendancy value or something like that. This pack ultimately is not good. I'm going to take the Firehoof Cavalry here, but again, that's another one that probably won't make the cut. Now, here's an interesting one. There is that Treasure Cruise now, which I could definitely see playing. These type of decks tend to either play out one way or the other. One way being that they use a lot of cards like Crippling Chill and removal spells like Ride Down and Arrow Storm to kind of get stuff out of the way, which fills up the yard, or they kill all your threats, and then you want to refill your hand. The other card I could take is Assault Road Patrol, but I'm going to go for the Cruise. I think I do want one Cruise in this deck. Sure. Probably not going to play Cancel, though it's not impossible. It just depends on how heavy blue we end up. Right now we're still basically spread out among the 3 colors. And by the way, I did pass that one dual land and haven't seen any since, so that could get a little sketchy. I'll take a Prowler here. Maybe if red ends up being our main color, which it might. I mean, we've got Creator's Claws, Arrow Storm, maybe Summit Prowler in there too. I think Summit Prowler goes just fine in a deck like this, assuming that you can cast it on time. If you cannot, then it really goes quite poorly in a deck like this. So it's going to be dependent on what the rest of the deck looks like. All right, well, interesting. Obviously, Sage of the Inward Eye is the best pick for our deck, but as I've said many times, if you want to survive out here in the rough world of Magic Online and drafting, you have to know when to take the money cards, and Flooded Strand is just that. Also, I will note that it goes right into our deck too, so that's pretty lucky. If it was a Wooded Foothills or something, we would just be putting it in the sideboard, but it goes right into our deck, and we need the fixing too, so it actually ends up quite nice for us there. Ooh, good pack. Jeez. War Named Aspirant, Battle Priest, and a Horde Chief. I'm going to take the Battle Priest. I think it's got the highest ceiling of all. I just find this card really, really powerful every time it's down. It's kind of a must-kill. Like, it demands a lot of attention. People don't get to just play around when you've got that card out. Another great pack. Jeez. Knuckleblade's not worth that much. I really like Mistfire Weaver. We could take Up Arms and throw the Trumpet Blasts in. That could totally be an option. I mean, Bondkin is also a fantastic 2-drop. But I think I'm just going to sort of play the middle ground here and take the Mistfire Weaver, which I think is an excellent card. Here's another Mystic of the Hidden Way. I'll take that. That looks pretty good here. Double Mystic of the Hidden Way is nice. Sometimes you just draw them, play them, and your opponent is, playing walls and a slower strategy that can't really keep up, and a couple tempo plays later the game ends. So I like having multiples of those if I can. Wow. These packs have been great. Killshot Master the Way, Mistfire Weaver. I'm just going to take another Mistfire Weaver. That basically sets us up perfect on creatures. So now, unless we open something absurd, we can focus a little bit more of our energy back on mana fixing and consistency type stuff. Fortunately, we didn't get anything of this sort. I think I want a Waterwhirl, though. Card's just powerhouse. Down the stretch, you can gain such a huge tempo advantage off of Waterwhirl. Can really just put away the game. So we'll give that a shot. That puts us at 23 in the main right now. And I think our 23 is quite strong here, but we've still got quite a few picks to go to kind of smooth things out as well. What would I like ideally? A couple of dual lands and a couple more 2-drops I think would be beautiful. Ooh, how about a Warden of the Eye? Yeah, I'll take that all day. That's a really nice pickup. That just immediately became one of our better cards. We will have to remember that if we run the Treasure Cruise that we've got a Warden of the Eye, though, and be careful. Wow, more good stuff. I love this. Mindswipe. I don't think that Mindswipe's like one of the best cards or anything, but it's good enough to play for sure. And in a deck like this, it can be devastating. Like, it's crazy how you can start pressuring them with Mystics of the Hidden Way, and then you just leave your mana up every turn. And, like, if they can't race your Mystics, then they have to cast a spell, and then you can Mindswipe it. And I think people forget that the damage gets done. Like, it doesn't matter if they pay it or not. It just does X damage to that controller. And and if you can put them in a position where they must cast a spell and the game gets, mid to late, you can do 4, 5, 6, 7 with Mindswipe and just kill them. That said, it is conditional. It's not an all-star or anything like that. I'm happy to pick it up there, but I wouldn't have first picked it. Well, sometimes you're the only one in Jeskai, I suppose. So we wield the Sage of the Inward Eye after money drafting our first pick. That is absolutely fantastic. could not be happier to see that. I guess I'll take a Whirlwind Adept here, though I'm not a huge fan and we probably won't play it. Bloodfile Expert or a Singing Bell Strike. I feel like we actually want a Singing Bell Strike. I think our creature situation is pretty sweet. All right, so what's our weakness? Well, it's pretty obvious at this point. It's mana fixing. We did not pick up enough. We've only got really one, and we could consider running our friend the Jeskai Banner over here, though that would be embarrassing and lame if we had to, though it is a non-creature spell, so it can trigger a couple of things that we have. Our deck is definitely going to end up being a mid-range deck, which is a good thing for us, because if you have an aggressive deck that has terrible mana, you're in big trouble. Because what ends up happening is your aggressive deck ends up being a mid-range deck, only you didn't plan for it. And that's not where you want to be, because then you're casting 2-drops in the middle of the game and just really unhappy. This deck, though, actually doesn't have a particularly aggressive curve, and it really is a more powerful mid-range type situation here. Absolutely. Of course, you guys should know, if you'd like to have an invite to the Limited Resources clan here on Magic Online, it's very easy. You just send me a message on here, and as long as you meet the criteria, you're in. What are the criteria, you may ask? You probably know it. You gotta love Magic. You can't be a jerk. It's that simple. It's not that hard either. That's the good news. All right, what do we like here, kids? Love, 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 like, love, like, good enough, kind of like. So we've got 17 creatures right now, which is too many. I mean, it's not too many generally, but it's going to be too many in this deck. So I'm going to kill probably a blue Elmer here. Let's actually sort by color. Let's see if we can narrow down the color situation here. So blue is clearly our primary color. And then we've got red. And then white is our tertiary, but we've got a fair amount of it. Like, it's not like a small thing here. So let's get rid of the War Behemoth. And let's bring back in, I think we can leave Wetland Sambar. So what I want to do is try to cut down on, spells that are particularly difficult to cast. I think we need to ditch the old Summit Prowler here too. And then a couple of cards down here, and we should be in business. I think we can ditch Waterwhirl or Treasure Cruise. We've got plenty of ways to get things out of the way. We could certainly ditch the Mindswipe. I love these Mystics. I love these Mistfire Weavers. The Mantis is fantastic. All these cards are great, except for like Leaping Master, meh. Glacial Stalker, eh. But whatever, we're not taking them out. Like, those cards are perfectly fine. So I like that. So we need to make 2 cuts down here. I think it's probably Waterwhirl, Treasure Cruise, or maybe Mindswipe and one of those. Singing Bell Strike could certainly go. Actually, I should probably cut Singing Bell Strike. So I normally like Singing Bell Strikes in decks like this just because it's a cheap way to get something out of the way and trigger prowess. But like I mentioned before, we're actually leaned a little bit more towards the middle. Like, I'd call this an assertive deck, but not a particularly aggressive deck. So I think we can deal without that card and leave ourselves with just one more cut to make. I'm not cutting any of these, so it's going to be something down here. So I think it's probably Waterwhirl, Treasure Cruise, or Mindswipe. I think I like Treasure Cruise in this deck. I don't think we have much other card draw, really, so I think I'll probably keep that. Like I said, it gives us a good backup plan, too, if they kill all of our creatures. Like, if we go creature, 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 and they're like, kill, 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 then Treasure Cruise all of a sudden becomes very castable and can reload our hand in a pretty big way. Crater's Claws is not cuttable. Mindswipe is. Waterwhirl is. Waterwhirl's probably a little bit better. They both serve a similar role. They're both late-game spells that we can use to close out the game. The difference between them is that Mindswipe can counter a spell in the early stages. Like, sometimes you just go land, 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 and then they're like morph, and you're like Mindswipe it for 1. That happens where Waterwhirl is rotting in your hand. But back on Waterwhirl's side of the field, it's also it has a big leg up on Mindswipe, because if you find yourself where you're behind or maybe just about to win, or you're at parity and you just need to punch in that last few chunks of damage, Waterwhirl off the top will do that. And Mindswipe off the top won't. It might get you there eventually, but Waterwhirl will get you there now and put them back really far. I think it's kind of a toss-up. We'll kill the Mindswipe. If we play against a somewhat slow opponent, then we'll bring it back in. All right, so let's combine groups and let's see how bad news about the mana it is. And I will say it is going to be very bad. That this is definitely our biggest concern, is that we're kind of just running the nasty mana base here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. 5 red sources. God, that's terrible. Just don't even know if we can do that. I mean, if I switch out Sambar for Leaping Master, that helps. If I switch out like Arrowstorm for, say, Cancel or Singing Bell Strike or something, that can help too. I mean, I hate cutting Arrowstorm. It's one of our better cards, but like we're in a bit of a desperate spot here, and I think we want to... I'm not doing this, right? No, I don't have enough still. Oh, maybe I'll put the Mindswipe in. This eases the burden. It means we only need 1 mountain to make our whole deck go, which is much better. And we get 8 islands, which is really kind of what we need. All right. Let's submit this deck, and let's hope that we hit our mana. Thank you for watching Drafting with Marshall. If you haven't subscribed to Gathering Magic, you can do so to receive news of upcoming videos and discover more content. You can also check out our playlist that contains every episode of Drafting with Marshall. And don't forget, you can easily watch the next video by clicking the annotation on screen or by clicking a direct link in any subsequent videos for this episode in the description box. And as always, thanks for watching.